week of hearts, everyone! And to celebrate the week of love and relationships, let's go back to our fictional waifus and husbandos. God save us all. I hope Valentine's hasn't been too cruel to all of you. Anyway, today we're going to dive deep into one of the more slept-on parts in a character's kit, which is their voice lines. If you didn't know, characters have unique voice lines that you can get upon unlocking them, and the higher your friendship score, the more voice lines you can receive. Some of them actually hide some very interesting lore or some fun facts about the characters. So welcome to Fun Facts about Genshin Impact's character voice lines, part 1 of probably many parts, because there's a lot of voice lines and a lot of characters. If you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe because next video we're talking about love. I think. I don't know. I don't know when this video is gonna come out. Ningguang. Ningguang's birthday voice lines for the Traveler are actually different depending on which one you pick. For Lumine's birthday, she gives her a brocade made of Liyue's finest silk flowers. For Aether, though...
These are some of Liyue's finest brocades, woven from silk flowers. This one is for you, and this one... I hope that someday soon you will be able to give it to your sister, and I hope that she will like it. I wish you both a happy birthday.
Albedo. Did you know that Albedo asked the Traveler if they could be his assistant?
After observing so many experiments, you surely know a good deal about alchemy by now. Relax, we will work together. I don't think you will have any problems. I have faith in my ability to instruct you, and even more faith in your exceptional talents.
Itto. Itto actually asked the Traveler to join the gang, and even made a catchy title for them, Traveler Second to One. Itto also considered painting his horns rainbow and attaching some fireflies on it.
Question for you. Do my horns look boring once you get used to them? Cause, I was thinking of switching up the style, going for like a total overhaul, you know? I'm thinking, paint them in rainbow stripes and then strap a few fireflies on for good measure, huh? Huh? I bet that'd turn some heads on the streets. Like, dude, you're rocking those sweet rainbow horns, man! Yeah! Aw, man, this is totally genius! I'm gonna round up the gang and get them working on it ASAP.
Also, Itto had an experience with Yaimiko where they had a ramen eating contest. And according to him, even though he was bedridden for more than a month, Yaimiko had to foot a bill of over 32 bowls of noodles. Arlecchino. Arlecchino's voice lines about the Harbingers are where it's most fascinating. And here we have a bit of interesting lore about La Senora.
She and Piero were the first Harbingers I became acquainted with. Her prideful attitude when she first visited the House of the Hearth failed to earn her many friends among the children. Subsequent visits were accompanied by gifts, and the stately claim that those who dislike me shall receive none. The children quickly learned how to play pretend, and she in turn basked in their attention, superficial though it may have been. I imagine she quite enjoyed being surrounded by children, perhaps due to the persistent loneliness that plagued her. I found her sacrifice to be a great shame. May she be reunited with her lover in death.
There's actually several characters in the current roster that are pretty unsatisfied with the visions that were given to them. Charlotte would prefer an animo vision, since she finds the flight it could give useful in her journalism work. Noelle also would like an animo vision, but more so because she's somewhat dissatisfied with getting Geo, an element so far away from animo and the Knights of Avonius. Speaking of Noelle, Noelle is one of the rare characters in Genshin Impact that has a directly confirmed age. She personally mentions in her voice lines that while she likes the smell of wine, she is not of the drinking age yet.
I actually really like the smell of wine. I'm just not of drinking age yet. There've been a few times when I could have had a little taste if I'd wanted, and no one would ever have known. But I resisted the temptation. I feel like the first time you try it is probably really magical, so I want to save it till I'm older.
This also includes Fischl's art on Twitter and in her voice lines, which also confirmed that she is not of a drinking age either. Which, given that Noelle is able to be a battle maid and Fischl is allowed to be an investigator for the Adventurers Guild, both of which are pretty combat and dangerous positions, I have a feeling that the drinking age of Mondstadt is higher than or they really just don't care about child endangerment. I'm honestly going for the second one. Citlali. Citlali's vocal nature is one of her strongest aspects as a character, and her vocalness and awkwardness is her personal charm. So when she actually gets to speak her mind about Auroron to the Traveler, someone who she deems as a good and honest friend, she has this to say. Also, fun fact, Citlali strangely has voice lines for most characters in Natlan, but she has a strange line to Ayaka, and what's even rarer about this one is that this is one of the rare times that you hear a character in the friendship voice lines talk to another character altogether, because most of the time, the friendship voice lines are designed as if they were talking to the Traveler.
You, young lady over there. Turn around and let me have a look. Ah, so this is from the case files of Miss Orith. I thought it was the second female lead from Great Detective Herlock. All Fontaine clothes look the same to me. All right, you can be on your way now. That's all I wanted to say.
Cyno. Cyno has great respect for Sethos, but he sees one flaw in him, and that's that Sethos doesn't play as much Genius Invocation TCG for his liking. Klee. According to Klee's voice lines, Master Diluc is not, indeed, the best.
Master Jean is the best. Kaeya is the best. Amber is the best. Lisa is the best. Bennett is the best. Diona is the best. Mona is the best. Sucrose is the best. He's one of the weird grown-ups.
Regular people knowing that the Traveler is from another world is surprisingly not as common, and there's only a handful of playable characters that reveal that they do. Besides the Archons and other more divine characters, of course. One such character is Fischl.
Oz, my loyal companion. Thought we should have met this person, one who hails from another world as I do. Perhaps even cruel fate has deigned to smile upon me, though sin courses through my veins.
Another one is Ayato.
Do I have other tricks up my sleeve beyond the Shumatsuban? Well, naturally. If even the cunning bunny burrows thrice, then what of the cunning human? But anyway, I've shared enough of my secrets. I think it's time I heard your story. Oh, and you can spare the part about traveling in Teyvat. Tell me about before that.
Kaeya. Alright, so, we know about the funny Khaenri'ah thing, right? The history of the Alberic clan and its relation to the aristocratic Clother Alberic, who were regents in Khaenri'ah. But even before that, Kaeya already had several lines about Khaenri'ah, including one hinting about his previous lineage, for humor or otherwise.
You think Fischl having one eye covered is very fitting given her title of Prinzessin de Verurtelung? If that's the case, that must also make me a descendant of some kind of former royal lineage, no?
Neuvillette. Neuvillette's voice lines continue to be one of the most fascinating set of voice lines because of all the wild hints that they have about the primordial ones, the bishops, and the time before the heavenly principles. But he also mentions something interesting about the Archons. First, we get new titles for Venti and Zhongli, Deus Auri for Zhongli, and the God of Breeze and Hope for Venti. But he also references something known as the Usurper King.
Now that I have reclaimed one of the 7 authorities from the hands of the usurpers, I have regained my true form. I am now a fully fledged dragon, powerful enough to judge the rest of the gods. My final destiny is to judge the Usurper King in the heavens above. But until that time comes, I will lend my power to you.
Also, there's a cute little tidbit about Fontaine's strange laws that Neuvillette shares. It is forbidden. Number 1, it is forbidden to release any flying objects during the first 3 days of each month, which is the reference to Furina's fight with the Traveler when they first met. Number 2 is that tomato ketchup is to be consumed in restaurants only as a condiment, never on its own, as it should be if you're not a cretin. Number 3 is no domestic pets shall be named after Furina, and number 4 is that Melusines are to be addressed using she/her pronouns, never the impersonal it/its. Neuvillette's own personal addition. Kokomi. Fun fact, if you ask Kokomi, the literal divine priestess and a pretty powerful military and government figurehead on Watatsumi Island, which is an island primarily known for its powerful fishing industry, what her least favorite food is? Surprisingly, she'll say it's seafood.
If I had to say, I'm not fond of any sort of seafood. But please, Keep this strictly confidential.
Sucrose. One of the fascinating parts about Sucrose's research is her affinity of taking the bones of creatures she's researching on and how she treats said bones.
This room is where I keep all the bones I've collected. On the table on the left we have lizards, frogs, and grass carp. To the front we have the bones of a wild boar. And then over there, in the right corner, is a hilly trail. Oh, don't be nervous. Nothing to be afraid of. They're really quite cute once you get used to them.
Ha! Hilly Trail. Wanderer. Scaramouche, the walking Bohemian Rhapsody reference, is not a fan of Dango.
I'm no fan of Dongo, or any other sticky sweets that make me feel like my teeth are fusing together. Keep them to yourself.
And fun fact of Scaramouche. If you've ever played the game before the 3.3 update, you'd be aware of this fun fact. But for those that didn't, are actually permanently deleted from their files once he deletes himself from the Irminsul. These include Tartalia's, Yaimiko's, and A's voice lines.
He came about as a byproduct of creating the Shogun. Perhaps it's because I feel like I owe him something, but I do not wish to assert control over him.
I thought it was a disaster waiting to happen at the time, but she insisted that she wasn't going to lift a finger against the object of her own creation. Had I known how things would unfold, I would have simply disposed of it without her knowing. What about now? Well, we're no longer waiting for the disaster to happen, are we?
After he took the Gnosis, we lost all contact with him. Now comes the task of trying to hunt it down and get it back. I actually don't mind it. It means I get to travel all over. Wonder if I'll run into you somewhere along the way.
Anyway, that's it for me today. Just some fun facts about our favorite Genshin characters. But my name is Aster, and thank you for chilling with me.